Thank you. Okay, now we're recording. Thank you. So the real question is which modeling technique for validating inputs and outputs? But let's start with which task this is. If they're modeling requirements, which task is that? It sounds harder than it is. I promise it's easier.
The requirements analysis and design definition.
Maybe. I think there's a better answer. How about specifying model requirements? Does that make sense? That's when we take the information and turn it into something that we can have a deliverable. So I think that this is specifying model requirements, and we want to do a modeling technique that's going to validate inputs and outputs of a solution. So is that process modeling, Kano analysis, prototyping, or interface analysis? Let's start at the top. Process modeling. How many people think it could be process modeling? How many people hate the idea of process modeling? Okay, I got one vote for process modeling. Is Kano analysis in the BABOK?
I don't know this. Yeah.
It might mention it somewhere, but I don't remember it.
So let's explore.
More of a Lean Six Sigma thing. They might mention it in the BABOK.
Right. So to validate inputs and outputs, would that be prototyping? Can we eliminate it?
I think we can.
Okay, so we think we can eliminate this one, and we think we can eliminate prototyping. How about interface analysis?
That is one.
Could be, yeah.
So interface analysis or process modeling. Interface analysis seems like it would have something more to do with inputs and outputs.
D.
Okay, let's test it. Let's find out. Wow. I don't know why it keeps jumping, guys. So sorry. And it's doing that too. Okay, so interface analysis is correct. It is a technique used in the specifying model requirements task, and James would recommend. Any questions on this one?
Interface analysis shows where the various subsystems fit together and where the system of interest interfaces with other things, and also includes user interfaces with people. I would go process modeling, but that's the definition in the BABOK. So what do you go
It's confusing. Yeah.
So process modeling and interface analysis are similar, but this one I think is really about inputs and outputs a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay. You are a BA working in a large retailer. Let's see if I can make this bigger where it stays. I don't know why it's crunched. Okay. At a large retailer and reviewing the documentation for an order processing system to understand the current state before working on an enhancement. So current state analysis, do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. The enhancement will add a predictive inventory replenishment capability. An increasing problem at your company is that popular products are frequently out of stock. That's why you need the predictive inventory replenishment capability. An important part of the existing documentation is this diagram below. So this is our order processing system. I know we've seen it before. It's called a context diagram, is the type of diagram it is. So the customer will create an order catalog request. It goes to the order processing system. The order processing system returns order confirmation. Their warehouse will send a shipping confirmation, and it will receive a catalog request. The accounting will send an invoice confirmation and will receive an order information. And the inventory management system will send product availability to the order processing system and it will receive inventory requests. We can go back and look at this in just a minute. Let's go to the first question. Which technique besides document analysis would you use to help you understand the context and need for the enhancement? So we know the enhancement is the predictive inventory. And we won't use document analysis because they've eliminated that. We have the context diagram. So would we use workshops, scope modeling, balanced scorecard, business model canvas, decision analysis, SWOT analysis, data mining, root cause analysis, and benchmarking, or a data flow diagram, item tracking, and risk analysis? You want to understand the context.
D maybe.
Why do you like D,
Yeah.
Alina?
I was excluding.
Yeah.
Like I don't like workshops for this particular questions. That's why and balanced scorecard is a little bit different. Yeah, so I excluded A.
Okay.
Business model canvas also not about this.
Okay.
Yeah. So data mining could be, but anyway, if choosing between C and D, I'm in favor of D.
Okay. And you think D will help us find context and need for the enhancement?
Might be.
I agree with that analysis.
Okay. Let's check this answer. Drum roll, please.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Through the context diagram in this question is a DFD, data flow diagram, but reading it is part of document analysis. Creating a context diagram using data flow diagrams is done prior to using it to understand the context and it's not listed in analyze current state, which is the task we're in. The other techniques are valid for understanding the context. So this part is
It's been happening to me all day.
so
It's
data
between
mining.
two and I always guess wrong.
You're not always going to guess wrong. You're learning where your gaps are and you're going to fix it now. So my data mining, root cause analysis, and benchmarking, all of these would help you understand the current state and the context and need for the enhancement. All are listed as techniques to help analyze current state. Any questions on this?
all clear.
Yeah.
It's challenging to find that you're wrong, but it's more challenging to find that you're wrong at the test. So let's do it now.
Yeah.
Okay,
the analysis to narrow it down to those two was solid though. So that's half the battle. If you're half right, you're half wrong, and if you're half wrong, you're all wrong, according to my high school physics teacher. But it's still good thinking.
Good thinking, good reasoning through it. You have studied the diagram, this one up here, and have an idea of which flow starts in order. Which flow in the diagram is most likely to start the process? This is the data flow diagram. Any of the flows could potentially start the process since the data flow diagram is not sequentially oriented document. A swim lane diagram would be needed to establish the starting point for an order. The order and catalog request is the starting point for the process, or order information is the starting point for the process. Let's start at the bottom. Is order information the starting point for this process according to this diagram? I
No.
see
No.
head saying no. Okay, how about order and catalog request? Is that the starting point according to the data flow diagram?
No.
No.
I think
No.
B, swim lane, sounds like a good answer.
Okay.
I would agree.
Because
Yeah.
Why do
swim
you like
lanes are
this one?
Thea's favorite.
I do love swim lanes. It's true.
So like I would eliminate A for sure because any of the flows, so Babok never says it. So
Well, and
Okay.
none of those. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
yeah,
Exactly.
and swim lane, it sounds logical.
Okay.
I
Anybody
don't
else?
actually love swim lane. I don't know what the right answer is. A sounds the most plausible in general, but I don't like that either, so I don't like any of these. I go with the order and catalog request.
I
I
will
kind of
tell
like
you
that
that
one too.
I don't love swim lane diagram because it's telling us a single technique is the only one that would tell us information. And I don't think
Well,
that that's
that's true. Yeah. That's
I
not,
think
it shouldn't be the
I
only
don't
thing.
think it should be telling us a single technique is the only thing that would give us the information we need because there's other things that could do it. I think A is going to be your right answer. Any of these flows could potentially start a process because it's not a sequentially oriented document. So
What is
which
That
do we
sounds
don't want?
logical.
DFD?
A DFD, data flow diagram?
Oh, they-
Okay. Let's test it.
yeah.
Let's test it. Okay. It's true. A
Yep.
data diagram is not sequentially oriented. More information is needed if the trigger for an order needs to be established.
Mhm.
This one is going to tell you, check answer. A swim lane is only one way to establish a trigger for a process. Other elicitation or modeling techniques could also be used.
Yeah.
That's why you need multiple views of a process to really understand what's going on. This is only one and necessarily incomplete.
If you folks have not looked at Bob's website and perused his many incredible process diagrams, guys, he's got some stuff in there that it just knocks your sock off. And he's got simulations in there. You can watch
He's
as
got
things happen.
fancy.
It
Yeah,
is
he's got
really
fancy stuff.
exciting. Okay, which flow in the diagram is most likely missing? So let me move it down. We can move it up and down as we need to. Credit card details, reduce inventory, new customer information, or shipping instructions. I'll start from the bottom. Do we need shipping instructions?
I
Don't think
hate
so.
questions like this because I feel like it's every answer, like all of the above.
Well,
It does
Well,
give
the
you
warehouse
shipping.
is
Yeah, like how do
shipping
you get it to the
confirmation.
person?
There you go.
Bob is showing us his favorite book in the world, guys.
No, my favorite cover in the world.
Favorite
Your
cover.
favorite
That's-
cover of a
Yeah.
book. Okay.
So remember we're talking about the order processing system. So anything that's not
Mhm.
related directly to the order processing system should be eliminated. Credit card details, maybe.
Yeah, I would.
Mhm.
Yeah, that could be.
Reduce inventory, I think, would be part of this system down here,
Mhm.
not between
Not-
order processing and inventory management. I think it would be isolated down here. New customer information, that's going to be in your CRM up
Customer,
here in your
yep.
customer, not in the order processing system. Shipping instructions, it seems like it'd be part of the order, and you do have shipping confirmation and catalog requests, but you don't have shipping instructions going to the warehouse.
No.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So let's test shipping instructions. And I'm not infallible here. Let's find out.
That's
This
right.
flow can be assumed since there is a shipping confirmation flow, but no flow to supply the instructions. You got to have
What are the
have a
credit
logical.
card details?
That should be in the accounting part, right?
I think it'd be in the payment processing system. Let's find out.
Yeah.
A tempting answer since so many retail orders these days are done by credit card, but order information probably already includes credit card details.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, as business analysts, our answers always begin with it depends.
It depends. Yeah.
Okay. So we have that one.
The
Next.
cheesy way to run a certification exam where you're guessing based on probabilities.
We're
Yeah.
doing the best we can, and we're doing pretty darn good. Okay, we have one wrong answer out of 4, so we've got an 80%. We're doing great. I'm sorry, that's not right. I'm not going to do math right now. I'm not mathing. Requirements that don't meet quality standards have likely been evaluated in which task? They don't meet quality standards. Which task is that, guys? Is that
Verify requirements.
Yeah, verify.
You know it. You know, verifying requirements helps ensure requirements meet the necessary standard of quality to allow them to be used effectively to guide further work. Which of the following output describes the requirements and the interrelationships among them, as well as any contextual information that is recorded? So it's the output, which describes the requirements and any interrelationship among them, as well as any contextual information that's recorded. So it's output of one of the tasks. Would it be requirements architecture, requirements traced, information architecture, or information management approach?
I want to say A, requirements
yeah,
architecture.
architecture.
Okay, let's test it. The
Mhm.
question describes the output of the define requirements architecture task. I couldn't ask you which task it was because that would give you the answer. So
Yeah,
we skipped. But y'all got it. You know the material. Look at you. Which of the following best identifies the method and life cycle by which a solution may be delivered? Method and life cycle a solution may be delivered. Is it transition states and release planning, change strategy, enterprise architecture, or solution scope?
Mhm.
Is transition states and release planning?
I think not.
No,
Eliminate that one. Why are we eliminating this one?
first off, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Release
doesn't sound
planning, it's more about
Yeah.
project management, I think, and Babok doesn't like anything from
Project management. You're
Wrong
right.
forbidden, right? Change strategy.
Maybe.
It depends.
It depends.
Can
Yeah,
be.
Enterprise architecture.
I don't think so.
No,
Okay. How about solution scope?
Maybe. That's
Can
the two
be.
I'm just trying to decide against between
B and
as
D,
in-
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We
Solution.
want to identify the method and life cycle by which a solution may be delivered.
Probably
Change
solution.
strategy, I think, B. It's
Okay.
Oh.
Oh,
This
dang.
particular answer is too broad. Transition states and release planning is an element in the defined change strategy task. Speaks to the method and life cycle by which the solution may be delivered.
I got to look that one up. Dang it.
I would have been fooled by that also. I also chose.
I would have been fooled by that one also because I'd forgotten that was an element in that task. So don't beat yourself up. Just remember, if you got it wrong, go back and look at 6.4 and look at the elements. Got it?
Yeah.
I want to call out some people that I don't see on screen that I don't hear answering. Jovan, are you with us?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Glad to hear it. You're developing an approach for how business artifacts will be stored, accessed, and shared. Which set of stakeholders would you involve in this task? So which task is this? Developing the approach about this? What task is that?
Okay. It is.
access and shares. Governance, yeah. No. No, not governance. Start access and share. Is this business analysis information? Hold on. That one.
It should be in the.
It could be in any of
Then-
the knowledge areas.
Oh,
And Arena is right.
Yeah,
The purpose of planned business analysis information management is to
Yeah.
develop an approach for how business analysis information will be stored and shared. All that work pays off. Okay, so which set of stakeholders are in that task? Is it your project manager, domain SME, regulator, and sponsor? Sponsor, domain SME, regulator, customer, domain SME, tester, regulator, or domain SME, regulator, sponsor.
And I keep getting this one wrong. Because it's between two.
I go
Is
for A.
tester
I
is
think,
tester ever a stakeholder?
yeah,
Yeah.
he is, but not
Not
here.
in this
I
one,
think,
no.
yeah, I would eliminate C.
Right. Tester is
I think
not a
I'd also-
stakeholder in anything in chapter 3.
I'd eliminate B. I don't think customers
No,
that's part of it.
that's not in it either.
Okay. So we can eliminate C and B.
A and D are
And
very
so
similar.
the difference is project manager, and I would think
Yeah.
that they would be included.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's A.
Gotta vote for A. I want you to note that this and this are exactly the same, except this one does have project manager, and your reasoning that, of course, they're going to be included. That makes perfect sense.
See, this is why I get it always wrong, because yes, it is the bottom one. For some, I know it's
Except
three.
Babok is evil. Like I said,
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever ask a question on the actual exam that's this granular, where you need to recall an entire list. The purpose of these questions is to point you to every section of the Babok.
Right.
So
So-
I can't guarantee that it's been a while, but I think you're in good shape. The way you guys are thinking should stand you in good stead.
So, the planned business analysis information management has no project manager. It does have the domain SME, the regulator, and the sponsor. Let's talk about what this task is actually doing though. How they'll be stored, accessed, and shared. Regulator makes perfect sense to me because sometimes regulators can say it's got to be accessible to us in this format or in this, location or whatever. The domain SME is the one that's going to be working with most of the data. So he would be, of course, you would want to know where he would find it most convenient. And then the sponsor, I don't remember why the sponsor would be doing this. Let me check. The sponsor in this one does not have a specific task.
He just needs to know.
He just needs to know. He needs to have his opinion heard. We're at the beginning of the project.
Or would they be the one to
And
like
I
approve the access
find
or
that to
something?
be a little inconsistent. The sponsor makes sure that the resources are available, and the organization does the thing, but that seems too granular for what their concerns would be. So logically, it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't have to make sense to us. If you answered
Yeah.
according to what the Babok says, you're gonna pass the test. That's just what it comes down
Right.
to.
And sponsor and domain subject matter expert are stakeholders in all tasks for this chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
they are.
yes, they are. In all tasks in this chapter, they are.
Yeah. And
That's
project
easy.
manager is not a stakeholder only in this task. So
And only in this task, right? In mine, I have same as 3.1 with no PM. And it's like, well, that helps me a lot. I have to go back up to 3.1 to figure it out. Okay,
It's so weird the way you guys know some of that stuff. Like I said, I never knew what was in the Babok until I studied it all these years in these classes. Who knows?
Bob, you're an exceptional person.
No, I'm just odd.
Well, that's kind of what I meant. Which of the following roles would be most interested in maintained requirements? This is not maintaining requirements, but maintained requirements, and why?
Mhm.
So we have a task about maintaining requirements. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maintain requirements is in the requirements lifecycle management. Which one of these roles would be most interested? Sponsors, because future projects would be less expensive if requirements could be reused. That's not quite the same. Project managers, who will be able to complete requirements faster if requirements are properly maintained. Implementation SMEs, because they'll use them to develop regression tests and conduct impact analysis. Or other business analysts, because future projects may utilize and extend any maintained requirements.
D.
So
D.
That sounds D. Sounds.
Other business analysts.
other
Yeah.
business analysts. Okay, let's test it.
Ah,
No. Why?
Why does the implementation
Nonsense.
SMEs care?
They care because the implementation SMEs, according to the BABOK, develop regression
According to
tests to
BABOK.
maintain, to be sure that things are still in the correct state.
Mm.
yeah.
Like I said,
In my world, that's the tester that does that periodically, but once it becomes, the solution is rolled out, it becomes the role of the implementation SME.
I feel like B or D would have made more sense in my life, but
Just learn what the BABOK says.
I know.
yeah.
Julian works in the IT department of a financial institution. She is responsible for ensuring that requirements and designs are supportable within the constraints imposed by technology standards and organizational capability plans. She may also have a role in reviewing and approving requirements. What type of stakeholder is Julian? She's got some interesting roles, responsibilities. Is Julian a domain SME, a regulator, operational support, or sponsor?
I say sponsor. They have to review and approve.
Lines are
Mm.
supportable.
Yeah, because she's approving requirements. Approving. I would say
Domain subject matter expert, maybe.
probably. 'Cause that would... Normally I would say sponsor, but
I like the sponsor for this one, but this part about here, requirements and designs are supportable within constraints imposed by technology standards and the capability plans. I don't think a sponsor would do that. So
no, they wouldn't.
let's test domain SME. Oh, operational
Wow.
support.
Operational support.
Yeah, that's what I.
The domain SME is involved in the review and approval of requirements and designs as defined by stakeholder roles and responsibilities designation, but this scenario presents this role's responsibilities for the task of approved requirements, which is operational support. So we are
I
in
never
5.5.
even think of operational support as a thing. I never thought about it till this day.
Okay, so according to the BABOK, let me show you my screen. This is 5.5, approving requirements. We go over here to operational support. Responsible for ensuring that requirements and designs are supportable within the constraints imposed by technology standards and organizational capability plans. Operational support personnel may have a role in reviewing and approving requirements.
Mhm.
So we have known it in the past, we just forgot. But remember, we went all the way through chapter 8 and then we started working our way back. It's been, what, 2 months since we talked about chapter 5, really? So let's just keep going. We're just brushing up on stuff we've forgotten. Production personnel have to complete a significant amount of paperwork for each batch of a new product. Much of the paperwork asks for the exact same information, and worker has to manually enter it on every form. This is contributing to the plant missing its monthly production goals unless it offers overtime, which eats away the profit. Melissa is a BA tackling this issue and suggests pre-printing forms with batch information to avoid having to manually enter it. What type of recommendation is this? So
A.
she is suggesting a solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of solution, what kind of task is this?
Eliminate
Eli-
redundancy.
Yeah, I was thinking A.
Okay, let's test that. That is correct. And this is task 8.5. So we have a solution. We know we're in chapter 8. And so it's recommend actions to increase value. What might Melissa cite as an additional benefit of the recommendation to help sell it to approvers? Pre-printing will reduce error related to paperwork by 3%, saving $23,000 annually. The paperwork will be easier to read as some workers' handwriting is horrible. It could be true, probably. Employees will see evidence that the company is listening to their complaints and doing something about it. Employee morale will increase, and with it, productivity and quality. Additional benefits aren't needed as the recommendation is straightforward and logical.
A maybe if shows numbers, it sounds convincing.
It does sound convincing. And the people
Yeah.
making the decision are the people that have to look at the numbers, right?
They're going to look at the
Correct.
numbers.
Yeah. ROI.
This is a
Yep.
logical answer and not specifically cited in the Babok, but it's also smart, which is Babok. We've
Mhm.
got numbers that can be, it's like, okay, we have a target,
Right.
we know what to aim at. And all of this other stuff could be true, but this is what we would use to try to sell it specifically on perhaps a business case.
Yep.
And congratulations, Melissa's recommendation was accepted. What will she need to help to ensure happens as a result to measure value? So to measure value, communicate the decision to production personnel, evaluate the solution of the pre-printed labels to ensure the forecasted value promised is realized, develop the processes related to pre-printing labels, or inspect the labels once printed to gain assurance the new process fulfills quality standards.
I would say B.
I would say, yeah, B.
Okay. This is what the majority of the solution evaluation knowledge area focuses on, delivery of the forecasted solution value. I've seen this question where it says she doesn't have to do anything. She got the project approved. She's free. And it's like, no, not what we do. You are the business analyst on an effort, and one of your stakeholders references the proposed changes to confirm compliance to standards. What type of stakeholder is this?
Regulator.
Yep. Regulator.
Right.
Because it's the compliance.
Yep. Confirming compliance to standards. Very good. Changes are likely to be referenced by auditors to confirm compliance to standards. Whenever I got into the business world, I had no clue how much oversight there was and how much you have to have please, the different people. And they have their own rules, so you have to please the different people in their own ways. I understand it better now that I've seen what happens if you don't do it. Which guideline and tools are leveraged to support assessing solution limitations? So there's our task. And it's a solution, so it's in chapter 8. So guidelines and tools, is it change strategy, risk analysis results, and solution scope? Change strategy, risk mitigation results, solution scope implementation, risk analysis results, future state description, and solution scope. Solution scope decomposition, risk mitigation analysis, and change management. Let's eliminate some, guys. Which ones of these aren't even in the Babok?
We eliminate
Eliminate.
maybe A, risk analysis results or risk mitigation results. I don't know. I don't remember this wording there. So I would eliminate A and B. I would keep C, to be honest.
Okay.
But that one
Right
has
answer.
risk mitigation or analysis in there. Risk mitigation analysis. Yeah, results is
No,
not the
results,
right
I
word.
don't remember it here in Babok.
Okay.
And risk mitigation analysis. I don't know.
Solution scope decomposition.
Do you think Stefan decomposition is a good option?
I'm not sure.
Solution scope decomposition sounds weird.
It does. I mean, there
We
is a
have functional
solution scope.
decomposition, right, of solution requirements.
Right, there's functional
Not scope.
decomposition.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So I don't think this is a real one.
I don't think so either.
Risk analysis.
And solution scope implementation.
Risk analysis results.
Solution scope implementation sounds weird.
Yeah, it does.
I think it's C.
C or A. I'm
Yeah, it's either
hesitating
C or A, but
between
I don't like.
First, assessing a solution.
strategy.
So
Or
let's
guess
talk
A.
through this. Change strategy, you would need that to identify what the solution was actually supposed to have been doing.
Well, change strategy is how you get from A to B or
Right.
current to future.
Right. But that would have told us what B was supposed to be whenever they originally created the solution.
Right.
Risk analysis results is in both A and C, so I'm going to skip that one. Solution scope, it's going to help you understand what the solution was supposed to
Right.
be.
Mhm.
Right.
This one also has solution scope. So this one has future state description and this one doesn't.
I'm not in love with
Oh,
this
C is looking
future
good.
state description.
Tell you what, let's test A
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ha.
and then let's test
C
C.
actually makes more sense, but A is the correct answer. It's on 175
It's
and
the
6.
change strategy is what usually, I don't know, because you would think it would be more future state description, but
Exactly. So this
Right.
is hard. The BABOK
You're-
it's a great document. There's necessarily a little bit of fuzz and loose ends in it.
My perspective between future state description and change strategy is future state description is what you get whenever you're first doing your analysis of current state to future state. It's kind of a high level, but once you
Yeah.
get down into change strategy, it's more finite. It's more minute, at a more granular level. And so whenever you're looking at what should the solution be doing, you want it as granular as possible. You don't want the high level. That's my
The future state is the detailed design that you're going to do, and the
Mhm.
change strategy is how you get there. So C makes way more sense to me. So I disagree with the Babcock here, but say what the
shocked, Bob.
Babcock says. Like I said, probably
Well,
won't get any questions like this because you can't, if you know the flow of the things through each other,
Yeah.
that's what I mostly knew when I took this and I passed with room to spare. So these detailed list things, you shouldn't run into too many of those. I don't want you to rely on that, but
This is
it's hard.
if you understand this mostly, you're probably going to be fine with the BABOK. I mean, with the CBAP test, because CBAP is take all these concepts and turn them into the scenario, how to handle the situation.
And the
Julie,
way you
it-
guys are thinking about it is fantastic.
And you know what? He doesn't compliment people for no reason, so take it. Julie is a BA working to help business owner clarify the business need. The business owner wants to undertake an initiative to eliminate waste throughout her division. She says that such an initiative, which will be comprised of multiple projects, will have the benefits of improved safety, reduced time to deliver the organization's product, and increased customer satisfaction. The listed benefits are another way of articulating which of the following, according to the BABOK. Are these desired outcomes, the business opportunity, future state description, or business objectives? Start at the top. Are these desired outcomes? Can we eliminate, or is this the answer?
Maybe it's business objectives.
Yeah, I think me too.
You like business objectives? Okay.
Mm,
Everybody agree on that? Anybody have any other ideas?
Possible.
Sure.
Okay,
Desired outcomes.
so business
Because of the
objectives.
customer satisfaction, I mean, that's the
Smart.
only thing that I was tripping on.
The thing about the BABOK is business objectives in the BABOK. Objectives is reversed according to my reality. Objectives seem high level in my reality, but according to the BABOK, they are very specific. They're measurable. They're all the smart things.
Oh,
Oh,
So in the BABOK, if it's an objective, it's something you can test against to see if you accomplished it with statistics.
mhm.
Um,
Okay, so it's just increased customer satisfaction is not really measurable.
No, if it said increase customer satisfaction among the specific demographic in a specific region by 12% based upon this thing, if it
Mhm.
was like you couldn't misunderstand it in any way, it could be an objective.
Mhm.
So I fully understand why you chose that, but it's
Mhm.
reversed in the BABOK. So just know that. So this is a desired outcome. The benefit referred to in the question. While the BABOK typically focuses on goals and objectives, it does use this term in the description of how business cases are used in the defined future state task. Okay? You're not going to get this wrong because you got it wrong this time and you learned. So we're good.
it sounded too easy,
Desired
you know?
outcomes and goals
No.
consider the same thing?
Say it, Stephen.
Could desired outcomes and goals be considered the same thing?
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
business objectives are more specific.
Goals and objectives. So desired goals and objectives, desired outcomes, they're the same thing.
Mhm.
You had it narrowed down to the right two, so that's
Mhm.
pretty good.
You did. Tony has listed a risk on the BA register that states the off-the-shelf solution will not interface with the existing accounting system without significant customization. Team members have asked him to remove it from the register, the risk register. Why? Because it's a design risk, it should be addressed by the solution architect. Because the statement is not a risk. Because the solution risk, it is a solution risk that will be addressed by the delivery team, or because the team has determined a solution.
It's not a risk, maybe.
It's
It's
not
not
a
a
risk.
risk because it's already been defined.
Mhm.
The
It's an
probability is
issue.
1.
If they had a concern something might be the case, it would be a risk. But it is a defined known thing, so it's not a risk anymore.
Right.
Risks are not known to be true. Risk are we're afraid it could be true. It's still an assumption. So once it's not an assumption anymore, once it's a real thing, you take it off the risk registry and put it on the issues log. I'm sorry, I just said all that without reading it. Susan is a business analyst who is creating a process map of the current product changeover process in a manufacturing line. The sponsor advises her not to waste time on the current process because everybody knows it doesn't work. Instead, he counsels her to research the best practice and train everyone on it as quickly as possible. What is Susan's best course of action? So she's documenting current state,
Yeah.
and he's saying cut it out. Her best course of action. Agree that in this situation, it makes sense to research best practices and implement it as soon as possible to maximize business value. Susan should quickly develop a cost-benefit analysis of pursuing her current course of action to demonstrate the overall value to her sponsor. Respectfully explain that the current process will be documented and analyzed just to the point of identifying what exactly will need to change so the effect of the change can be assessed. Or agree with the sponsor to minimize conflict, but continue process mapping as a tool to use in analysis of the current state. So this one seems dishonest.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
D is
eliminate
not
it.
right.
We're not gonna lie. We just don't do that.
I think
I like
B.
C. Oh, go ahead.
Tell us why we like B.
Because I mean, it's giving the cost benefit analysis to the sponsor to basically show ROI.
Okay. That it's true, it would show ROI, but is that going to help her with the current process? Or help her get permission to continue to document current process?
It would think it would help continue to document the current process, but let's see.
Well-
what are the other answers?
I like C because it it says respectfully, but it'll help her identify without wasting time. She'll be able to figure out exactly where it is that, can be adjusted or whatever.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
choose C as well.
Okay, I've got 2 votes
Yeah.
for C. Let's
I'll-
test C. Go ahead.
I said I would go with C as well.
Okay, let's test it. The current state should be explored in just enough detail to validate the need of the change, identify exactly what needs to change to achieve desired future state, and analyze its effects. Let's look at what it says about B. This may be necessary at some level depending upon the sponsor's communication and decision-making style, but it is not the most correct answer. This wouldn't help us with the current process as much. There is an element of identifying the cost of the current process versus the potential benefit of the future process to give us our return on investment, your cost benefit analysis, but it's not so deeply focused on documenting the current process.
Yeah.
There's a concept out there called HIPPO, which is highest paid person's opinion. And
You're not supposed to say that when Irina just took a drink, man. Yeah. Well, speaking of funny things, do y'all know about Elmo? Elmo? No?
What's Elmo?
Tickle me, Elmo?
Yeah.
Elmo, ELMO. Enough. Let's move on already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
So, we literally got little pictures of Elmo to hold up in front of the screen. So it's like, I understand. We can move
That's
on.
funny.
So that whenever
That
several
is
people
funny.
are showing Elmos, it's like, okay, I don't have to keep explaining it. We're good. The audience has said Elmo. But we got little Elmo pictures that were cute. Okay, IDEF, BPMN, and IGOE are types of notations utilized on which of the following models? I'm going to admit to you, I only know of one of these. I only
Same
recognize
here.
one, but I know what that
Me
one
too.
is. So if you know one,
Yep.
you don't have to be overwhelmed that you don't know them all. So IDEF, BPMN, and IGOE, are they conceptual models, process models, state models, or data models?
Process models.
Process model. Yeah.
That is correct. Very good. I find it so gratifying whenever those of you who don't speak up very often do speak up and you know the answer. And it's like, you are listening. It is working, They do exist. Always. The performance report in an in-house developed solution has shown for the past year that the application is outperforming its targets in every category. The defined KPIs and the performance set the performance bar pretty high. What's a likely cause for this overperformance? it's working at 200% of what we expected. This is great. We're going to go out for drinks. The end users were trained really well on the new solution and they maximized the solution's performance. The vendor may have pushed updates improving solution performance. Sometimes you just get lucky. The developers exceeded the performance expectations defined in the requirements and acceptance criteria. The BABOK actually says something about this.
Every day I get through a day, I tend to say C,
Yeah, same here.
but that's not the answer.
Yeah.
I think that you're just blessed. Okay, so what do we think the answer is? You think that the end users were trained? The vendor pushed updates? You get lucky? Or the developers exceeded the performance expectations?
Maybe B,
I
pushed
I'm-
updates.
Thinking D, but
Maybe.
yeah, I
Or
like
D.
D too. D is in
Tell
what
us
is it
why we
called?
like
Delta.
D.
I just
Because they might have. You don't know.
Because
I think they did.
it's because it's an
Okay.
in-house developed
But see, I know
solution.
that's right. It's in-house developed solution, so it can't be B because the vendor would have nothing to do with it.
Mm.
Okay, let's
Uh,
test D.
It's not D. What?
It is D.
I'm a developer and we
Yeah.
never normally exceed the
There is this
According to the
thing.
BABOK, you do.
In this one, you
According to the
did, yes.
BABOK, you do. So it's this thing called gold plating. And it's like the developer said, well, if I just do this little bit extra, it'll be
They
so
tweaked
much
it.
better for them. And I've seen developers, especially senior developers, it's like, I know better than these junior guys. I'm going to show them how to do it. And they do gold plating. Sometimes gold plating is a term that's usually kind of derogatory for developers. It's like you did stuff we didn't need. But sometimes they do stuff that we did need. We just didn't know we could get it done.
Here's the thing about gold plating. I think of that more in terms of features and not performance.
I agree.
Features is making it do extra stuff. That'd be gold plating. Any
Mhm.
good practitioner should make stuff as efficient, fast, and resource compact as possible. And it's always hard with these things.
Speaking of what developers do, companies sometimes do this too. Companies will create a project, create a product that there's no need for because somebody had this idea that they wanted it or it was important and nobody did the investigation. And then you get it done and everybody's like, nobody's using what we just spent the last 6 months of our life doing.
Yeah, we had a
So-
lot of that at my old company.
Yeah. Well, it's a common thing, and it really comes down to if the company has a good vetting process, how do you get your project on the list? Is it because if you're HIPPO, of course all your projects are going to get done. It doesn't mean they're needed. It doesn't mean people need that. Okay, let's go on. The performance report I'm sorry, same thing. Given this scenario, what's the best course of action for the BA? Investigate the root cause of the overperformance, perform a cost benefit analysis to ascertain the value of the overperformance, do nothing, it's overperforming, or present the assessment report to the appropriate leader and ask them for a decision to pursue further action or not. So the BABOK has a suggestion in this situation.
D. Present the assessment report.
Present the
B
assessment.
sounds good, but wouldn't you do A first before doing B?
Investigate the root cause of the overperformance.
Wouldn't you want to find out why?
Yeah.
Well, that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's A.
Good
A.
that sounds
job.
good.
Oh
Before
my,
the
yes.
can recommend a course of action or determine if the benefit outweighs the cost, they must understand the reason for the overperformance so they can calculate the cost.
There you go.
It's important we always figure out the root cause, even if the person is convinced they know what's going on. I mean, trust but verify.
I don't know. I don't know why sometimes you don't just shut up, take the win, and move on.
You like do
The
nothing.
do nothing sounded really good.
Are you saying Elmo? Is that what you're saying? Okay. On a project, a business analyst makes sure that the requirements models have met the necessary standard of quality so they can be used effectively to guide further work. What has the business analyst been doing? Is this definition the definition for the task of documenting a transition requirement, validating a requirement, specifying a modeling requirement, or verifying the requirement?
Verifying requirement.
Verifying.
As- We had this question already, no?
We had it backwards a while ago.
We've had it in different forms. I love the fact that you guys instinctively at this point feel the difference between validate and verify. That makes
Verify,
me
yeah.
You got
super
it.
happy.
Okay.
Super happy. I've never heard him say
Right.
that before, guys. This is awesome. Keep
Bob's
it
super
up.
happy.
Which task in the elicitation and collaboration knowledge area may use all of the following techniques? So, elaboration, collaboration, brainstorming, focus groups, interviews, and observations. Is it the task confirm elicitation results, conduct elicitation, prepare for elicitation, or manage elicitation results?
B, conduct
Yeah,
elicitation.
B.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, B.
Brainstorming, focus groups, interviews, and observation techniques are all listed for this task. Conducting elicitation using these makes perfect sense. You are a business analyst working on a project to upgrade the current billing system. After eliciting all of the requirements from relevant stakeholders, you set up a meeting with solution team to explain the new functionality requested and to review the changes needed from them to the existing functionality. In this meeting with the developers, you discover that some requirements will not work with the current system functionality, and you find inconsistencies and gaps in the requirements. As a business analyst, what could you have done to avoid these issues earlier in the process? So we're in the confirming the requirements, right? That's what we're doing. The BA could have involved development team in the elicitation activities. The BA could have studied the current system functionalities well before eliciting requirements. The BA could have confirmed the elicitation results right after any elicitation activities to ensure they were accurate. Or the BA could have questioned the right SMEs or knowledgeable stakeholders who had understood the system functionality. If I remember right, this is just a little bit different than the way I would do it in real life.
Yeah.
I would eliminate A
Why would we
because
eliminate A?
they said they involved all of the stakeholders, and that is saying that the development team was not involved.
They were not a relevant stakeholder, apparently.
Probably not.
Because it looks like that he's meeting with people he's never met with before.
Yeah.
I'm
You met with
between
them
C
afterwards.
and D because C is probably something I would do just to make sure I got everything right. But D kind of it says inconsistencies and gaps in the requirements of the SMEs I feel or knowledgeable stakeholders would understand what those gaps might be.
Okay.
Watch it be like B, but I'm between C and D, so I'm not sure.
Okay. I got some votes, guys. Give me some more.
Kind of like C.
Why do you not like C, Richard?
No, I said I kind of
Oh,
like
you
C.
do like C. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Just because I mean, I like C and D.
Okay.
I'm leaning towards C though. But I don't know why.
Why I would eliminate D? Because like asking someone is not what really Babok says. So business analysts should know like how to do this.
Okay.
The problem comes from not verifying what's going on in the current state and the future state. And if you do those won't have you will not have this problem.
Yeah, it seems to me like, because it said after the eliciting all the requirements, it's almost like he didn't confirm them. And if he had done that, then because, well, that's basically what he's doing. He went to the developers and they're like, well, wait a minute, this isn't going to work.
Hmm?
It seems like that's why I was right my framework in terms of the loops where you verify everything in every stage.
Okay, so which one do we want to test, guys?
Doesn't mean I'm right, of course. That's just the way I think about it.
It's true. You want to test C?
Let's try
Yeah.
C.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's test C. Elicited
Alright.
information should be confirmed to identify and resolve any gaps or problems before resources are committed to using this information. So
Richard, you're a beast.
Let's check D also.
I will.
Just wondering how they explain that.
Even if business analyst collaborates with knowledgeable stakeholders or SMEs during elicitation activities, confirming elicitation results could help ensure there are no gaps or inconsistencies in the elicited information. So in the real world, I would have involved development in my elicitation activity so they could say immediately, no, that's not something we can do. And we could go on to, so what can we do?
Right.
But Babok says that you confirm your elicitation results immediately after you receive elicitation with the people who can tell you, can it be done or not? Okay?
I was reading about consensus. Is that where that will come in? Like everyone is
Yes.
agreeing or on the same page?
Yes.
Understanding
Consensus
the
is
same
everyone
thing.
on the same page.
Yeah.
Agreement.
That's the whole point. Find out what's going on, document it, have everyone review it, and make sure everyone understands and agrees. And you keep iterating within phases and between phases until everyone is on the same sheet of music.
I like collaborative meetings with all the pertinent stakeholders involved, even if they don't have to be involved in every single piece of the conversation. They can hear it and know what's going on, and you don't have to try to translate some technical thing that you don't quite understand to somebody who said, so what did they decide? And it was like, I so much wish you had been there. What are
And
the
that's why having as many different artifacts and pictures and diagrams and lists of text is to make sure everything is easy to understand in language that makes sense to everybody is so important.
That's true.
Yep. What are the inputs to the verify requirements task? So verify requirements task is a requirement specified and modeled, requirements in transition, requirements signed off, or requirements validated.
A.
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 There you go.
Because the other three don't.
That's so
are not
funny.
right.
Okay, let's view the results. Overall, you got a 76%.
Woohoo.
Perfect on, well, out of one question, you got it right
Yeah.
on one. Strategy analysis, you got 7, you got 4 of those right. So we have a little bit of brushing up to do there.
Strategy.
Elicitation and collaboration, very first ones. We 1 out of 2, not so bad really. That's only 1 out of 2. You only got 1 wrong. Requirements analysis and design definition, you got 6 out of 6 right. Guys, y'all are rocking it. Requirements life cycle management, out of 3, you got 1 wrong. Oh, you got 2 wrong. So 2 wrong. It's not horrible, but we got to brush up on that. And solution evaluation, you got 6 out of 6 right there as well. So the number that
Even
you,
on the ones you missed, you were usually close.
right. So your reasoning on it is really good. Your knowledge on it is a little bit weaker in some areas, but you noted where you need to study. So you're going to get it done. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, I have. I tried in this simulator option simulate the exam, and
Mhm.
there are very long questions, which never happen when we try this warm
Yeah.
up.
So the very long questions are going to be similar to what you're seeing in the test, like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
It's more realistic, right? To
it is more realistic.
You'll
I
probably
would say,
get the longer questions in the case-based ones, and they'll ask
Mhm.
those consecutively.
It's true. So when I think we've gone through strategies for taking the test, and I told you whenever you first start, just skip to question 50. The reason is questions like this that kind of are overwhelming. They always seem to put them in the very first questions. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
they're there, and they are going to be things like this. So you have a whole lot of information here. I would suggest as a strategy, read the question first. Read the answers first, and then go up and look for that area. Read the entire paragraph. If you have any questions, read the paragraph above it. Read the whole thing if you want to, but at least you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then you go to your next question, and it's going to be on the same information. Read this question, and then go up and figure out where it is up there. Now, I've had people that say, no, I think I want to read the whole thing first. Honestly, I get overwhelmed trying to track all the little details because I don't know what I'm looking for. If you read the question first, you know what you're looking for, and then read it, and you can say, okay, this is what it was talking about. This is what I'm supposed to be looking for. Does that make sense?
Yep.
If
So,
you're comfortable, however, getting imbibing the first part, go for it. Do what comes natural.
do whatever you're most comfortable with, but don't let this overwhelm you. It is nothing more than a whole bunch of answers in the wording, and then you go down and you figure out the question, and it's all just jumbled together. There's a lot of noise up there. I mean, it's going to tell you stuff that you don't need to know. You know, they came from Miami and they like palm trees and whatever. You don't know what you don't need to know, but once you read the question itself, it kind of gets you oriented to what you need to look for. But I do suggest that whenever you first open the test, just skip to question 50, and you're going to have the short questions, you know, the little scenarios, six sentences max probably, and then your 4 answers that you choose from. Get that under your belt, go through the rest of it, flag anything you want to come back to check, and then whenever you get to the end of your test, go back to the very beginning, and this is going to be easy after all those. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay. Any other questions? Do y'all want to answer this question, or do you want to shut off for the night?
The
We
business
didn't answer this
capability
one?
analysis.
Oh.
See?
I hadn't even read the question yet.
Oh, Aaron.
Well, I guess that we're going to answer the question. Let's go back to the beginning of it. So this is the first one. Okay, New Mills Foods overview. The New Mills Foods is a specialty maker of food products focusing mainly on grain-based items. The company started by processing grain into flour. New Mills later discovered they could use their raw ingredients to make their own food items such as cereal, energy bars, and cake mixes. They still sell flour, but the profit margin for that is lower than for the finished products. The company has experienced increased competition from lower cost suppliers of grain, which affects all of those products. In addition, customers have slowly been moving away from grain-based breakfast products to things like yogurt, eggs, and protein shakes. Searching for ways to increase profits by reducing costs, the firm has launched into an initiative to improve its production and shipping processes and assembled a team on which you are the BA. Below is a summary of what has been discovered in the effort so far. Processes for producing ready-to-bake products. Once an order is received from a warehouse, it is transmitted instantly to the food production department. A copy of the order prints out and a record is added to the production database. New Mill uses a concept they call work crews to assemble products. Each crew has a crew chief to oversee the crew's work and its output, and 3 and 4 crew members to mix, assemble, and package the products. A few other factories have experimented with robots for package assembly with mixed results. One member of the crew operates the input machinery and dials in the needed ingredients needed for the product. Another one makes sure all the needed supplies are present, inner and outer packaging and glue. Another crew member loads the cellophane into a machine that makes bags for holding the finished product. In addition, crew members loads the pre-printed box materials into a packaging machine. After product ingredients are mixed, they move the conveyor by conveyor belt to be poured into the cellophane bags. The machinery seals the bags and moves them to a conveyor to another station where crew members oversee the bags getting placed into boxes, which are then sealed with glue. The boxes move by a conveyor to a station where they are loaded into a shipping boxes, 24 in a box. Occasionally, some boxes don't assemble properly as they're filled. If this happens, a crew member pulls the product off the conveyor and puts them in the problem bin. A runner comes by periodically to retrieve the bins and dispose of the problem products. More often than not, problem boxes are thrown away due to lack of staff to resolve those issues. Processes for shipping products. As completed boxes are filled, crews place them on a pallet to be delivered to the shipping department. Once a pallet is filled, the crew member moves to a shipping area. Given production volumes, this movement of pallets occurs dozens of times a day. Once in the shipping area, a shipping clerk matches the pallets with bills of lading. Those are documents that will assign the pallet to an appropriate truck for shipping. If no bill of lading is available, the pallet remains stacked in the shipping area, sometimes for days at a time. We just did a current state analysis.
Yep.
Given the findings of the team, what would be the reasonable next step? So the team has figured out this information. Now, had I read this at the beginning, it wouldn't have helped me at all, right? We had to figure all this out. Measure how the current solution is performing relative to the value it provides. Determine the desired business objectives that affect production and shipping. Determine the potential value of the current production and shipping systems, or determine if the current production and shipping systems are delivering the most potential value. Can we measure how it's performing relative to the value it provides without identifying its value?
Right.
So I
No.
think we can eliminate that one. Are we going to ask about desired business objectives that affect business production and shipping? No commitment on that
No.
one. Okay, how about determining the potential value of the current production and shipping system?
Seems to be it'd be more like D, determine if the current
Yeah, I
production
agree.
and shipping systems are delivering the most potential value.
So with the information up here, do we know what the potential value is?
No.
No, what
No.
would be, what would be
It
the
would
Well,
be
what
C.
would
Oh,
be?
determine the
We have to
potential
determine it
value.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
determine the
So I
potential
think-
value. So it'd be that C then.
I
Yeah.
think we would need to figure out what the potential value is.
Yeah.
Let's test it.
I see your logic
Oh,
though.
we can't test it. We can't tell it what's right because we're not in the area that will tell us if we have the right answer. So I can't test it. I'm going to answer it and go on to the next question.
Oh, because it's doing the whole thing. I see.
It's not doing the drill, it's doing the test.
Mm-hmm,
So which of the
Thanks,
following
Aaron.
techniques?
yeah, right.
Yeah,
right there.
thanks. Which of the following techniques would be most helpful to understand the limitations with the current production and shipping processes? Would it be benchmarking and market analysis, metrics and key performance indicators, business capability analysis, or focus groups?
Is Aaron still there? Didn't he want?
Yeah,
Didn't he let-
I said business capability analysis.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. C.
Let's test it. Oh, we can't test it.
Can't test it either.
Nothing can be
You're
tested. We don't know.
right. I
We won't
don't
know until we get to
with
the
D
end,
on that.
and then we can see how well we did by knowledge area, how many questions we had for each knowledge area, and which one, how many we got right and wrong. Which of the following stakeholders will help understand value assessments for the process improvements and identify ways to improve solution performance and increase value realization? Which stakeholder? Would it be the domain SME, the implementation SME, the tester, or the project manager?
I kind of like A.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can't test it, so we're going to go on. Fourth one, in the same scenario. One of the factors driving the need to reduce cost is that the customers are switching to other breakfast products. The effort to reduce costs will help with short-term profits. Besides influencing skills, which of the following competencies will assist you in ensuring that the long-term need for new product lines is addressed? So it's asking for a soft skill here. Is that negotiation and conflict resolution, problem solving, benchmarking and market analysis, or creative thinking? So you basically got to convince somebody to look at something different than what they're looking at.
I want to say benchmarking and market analysis
what I
only
was
because
gonna
it says the
say.
customers are switching to other.
The market analysis.
That's a generalized macro thing, so that should be correct.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to submit this. We've answered 4 questions. So the whole score is going to be wonky. We got 1 out of the 4 right.
Oh my gosh.
So
So we could view the exam questions, view this exam's questions, and then go back to see which ones we got incorrect.
Okay.
Determine business objectives that affected
Oh,
production
what's
and
wrong?
shipping.
So yes, but you're going to be working with 125 questions at a time whenever you're doing it this way.
Yeah.
This is a very viable way to be able to say, okay, I tried it, I didn't get it right, or I did get it right. If I didn't get it right, now I know what to go look at.
What about the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, which one did we get right?
Yeah. Also an incorrect answer. Benchmarking and market analysis was that other one.
This one is for
Oh.
capability analysis.
I would have actually said B on that one.
Metric.
We got this one right. The domain
The domain
SME is
stuff.
the one who recommends actions to increase solution value. Very
You got
good.
that one.
And then we know the next one is we also got wrong.
Right.
Mm.
Problem solving.
Oh.
That's crazy because that's a
It's the root
very
cause. We gotta
general
determine.
answer, and what you're trying to do is compare it to what the broader market is doing. That said, their argument could be that benchmarking in market analysis only compares to what other people are actually doing, and not the more general open-ended thing of what do the customers actually want as a prediction.
Right,
So-
that one's a
So,
technique.
This is a
Yeah.
technique and it was asking for competencies.
Mm. Yep.
Oh yeah.
So if
So
y'all
subtle.
aren't aware of the discount code that you can use to get access to this for yourself, send me a thing on LinkedIn and I'll be glad to give you the discount code. I say it every single week during the opening of the other meeting, but
I
if
gotta,
you
I
don't
gotta get
attend
that
that
from
meeting,
you. Yeah, I gotta get
okay,
that from you.
just send it to me and I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I wrote you a bunch of stuff that you've asked for on LinkedIn. So
I saw that coming in, but I couldn't read it because I was,
yeah, of course.
doing the thing. Do y'all have any questions about your applications? Scheduling your tests? Anything else?
I got it scheduled. Ugh.
Hopefully you
Do you have
guys,
it scheduled, Robin?
even though we struggled on the answers, hopefully you weren't intimidated by that wall of text. Just break it down. You guys should have no trouble understanding it, no matter how you want to attack it.
One thing we haven't talked about is the test is long. So if you need to eat like a protein bar that you're accustomed to eating right before you go in, give you something so that you have energy and fuel. I've had several
usually-
people say that they leave, they go use the bathroom and then they go back out and they can get into their bag and get a drink. I don't know if every place will let you do that, but give yourself the fuel that you need right before you go in so that you don't get low blood sugar or something.
I usually can't eat.
All right.
Nothing.
All right. Okay, we are at the end. Thank you so much. I hope that you don't get too discouraged. It is normal for this area where you kind of go, wait a minute, I didn't think I'd still be getting questions wrong. And some people feel like they hit a wall. This is normal. You're not supposed to know it all perfectly just because we studied the whole thing. You're knowing it better and better and better and a little bit at a time. So whenever you find something that you didn't do perfectly, it tells you where to study. Just make the note and get it done. Okay?
Thanks,
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Have
Yep.
a
Thank
good
you.
weekend.
Everybody.
Bye,
Yep,
guys.
have a
Thanks.
great
Good
weekend.
weekend. Bye bye.
Night.